can guarantee to you that a happy chef's food tastes a heck of a lot better than an angry chef's food. The customers also perceive that. It's not a front. We really are happy. We put a lot of effort into what we do. The final product has that real positivity and that playfulness to it that we also feel in the kitchen every day. It's a blessing to be able to come into work and smile every single day and to feel like this authentic joy that I have.
Benvenuti a Ciao Bella. I'm your host, Erica Firpo. For the past 20 years, I've made my home in Rome, where I've worked as a journalist contributing to publications including Afar, Washington Post, Lonely Planet, and Travel and Leisure. I love sharing the stories of Italy's pioneering creators, and I'm bringing these stories directly to you on Ciao Bella. Every week, I'm joined by contemporary artists, heritage artisans, designers, culinary experts, innovative aesthetes, and more. At the crossroads of evolution and tradition, the past and the future, they are working and creating to define and redefine 21st century Italy. Join me as we see Italy through their eyes. Today we're pulling back the curtain of Casa Maria Luigia, Massimo Bottura's amazing hospitality spot in Modena, to talk with head chef Jessica Rosval. You may remember Jess from a previous Ciao Bella episode dedicated to her fabulous cotechino, a savory treat covered in zabaglione which transformed my life and breakfast. Ever since sharing her cotechino with the world, Jessica has been all over the proverbial books. In 2021, she was named Best Chef by Guida dell'Espresso, Italy's taste-defining food and restaurant guide. And she continues to receive accolades for her work in and out of the kitchen. In September 2023, Massimo and Jessica launched Gatto Verde, a new food and hospitality experience in Modena. I joined her in the kitchen to talk about the new restaurant, her culinary advocacy projects, and back-of-the-house philosophy.
First of all, thank you. Congratulations. It was so great. It was so much fun. The food was incredible. Darius and I, every single bite, it couldn't get better, and it did. And the cotechino, oh my God.
I know.
When I first met you, I met you out by the forno.
Yes.
And then I had the cotechino.
The original breakfast cotechino.
Then I hounded you about that cotechino. And then last night I was like, oh my God, it's on that. And it was with the prugna, the plum.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was so beautiful and delicious. And it was I didn't think I could like cotechino more than that one. And I was like, damn, now I have 2 cotechinos. And this morning Darius cracked me up because he's like, you're going to eat 2 of them again, aren't you? I was like, yes, I am.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like a human cotechino at this point. But
perfect.
But everything.
When in Modena.
Exactly.
Why not?
And speaking of when in Modena, so I had a little chuckle yesterday when I walked into the restaurant and I saw the Jack Pearson piece that said fate, or fate, but fate. And I was thinking about you because I know that it's 10 years in October, which is also around your birthday, that you've been in Modena. And I wanted to know if you want to share that story of you coming to Modena and then bring it up to Gatto Verde.
Yeah, I think that, fate, absolutely, because there was no plans to move to Italy. There was no plans to stay in Italy once I got here, but it was just kind of a series of opportunities and moments that I kind of found myself in, saying, okay, wait, is now when I just change everything? Is now when I, change plans, change course, drop what I've done, start new? I mean, I think that I kind of just followed that fate over the last 10 years. I moved to Italy because my partner at the time, by chance, got this scholarship to do a master's in Milan. And it applied to a bunch of different schools all across North America. And I remember him applying to the school in Italy and saying, oh, don't worry about it. We're just doing this to tempt fate. And that's something that he said, And, and then we just kind of said, ha, 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 and sent off the application. And then he got, full scholarship. And so we just said, oh, all right, well, let's go to Italy. And I had been working for 10 years. I had never really traveled outside of Canada. I said, okay, I'm going to join you for a year and travel Europe and work as a baker or in a butchery, or I didn't really think about getting a job in a Michelin star restaurant. I didn't think about doing anything that would mean settling down. It was just kind of more of a let's just go and be a bit of a traveler, and we come into Italy. I landed on October 13th of 2013. October 19th, I had a reservation in Osteria Francescana. And that's when I went to go and eat. We were celebrating my birthday, which is on October 20th. And I met Massimo at the table, and I was just fresh off the plane, 6 days in the country. Massimo was serving a menu at the time that was called Vieni in Italia con me, so come to Italy with me. And I was so emotional. I was blown away by the fact that I was living a country and a landscape and a history and traditions in such an intense way with this menu. And I just knew that I wanted to be a part of Osteria Francescana. I was talking with Massimo at the end of the meal, and he gave me his, email address and said, because I was in Milan, and he said, I know all of the chefs in Milan, and I'm happy to help you find a job wherever it is that you want to work. Like, just let me know. I'll call my friends. I'll help you, get a job in Milan. Yeah, super nice. I mean, I could have been, a serial killer for all he knew. But, he's just so nice and so generous, and has always, and since then I've just seen him always supporting younger chefs and trying to help people get that kind of lucky break, in their careers. And he was willing to do that for me back then. I woke up the next morning and just emailed him and said, there's nowhere that I want to work besides Osteria Francescana. And he said, okay. He said, come in, do a trial. And I went in for my 2-day trial, which ended up, turning into these last 10 years, which has been incredible. It's been just a constant period of explosive growth within this company for Osteria Francescana as a family, where, when I started, it was just the restaurant and we were 10 cooks in the kitchen, and, we were, serving the menus there, to now, we have countless restaurants across Modena and around the world, and now Casa Maria Luigia and Food for Soul and Tortellante, and everything is just growing and growing and growing, and being a part of that has just been incredible.
And Lara was telling me you're going to switch the kitchen.
The kitchen
so
is
breakfast
gonna
will
go
no longer be it'll be over there.
Yeah, we won't be able to do it there anymore. There's just not enough room. In the summertime, it's fine. Everybody sits outside. But once it's wintertime, we don't have enough room in that dining room for what could potentially become 40 to 45 hotel guests.
I mean, it's kind of crazy, this evolution. I was saying to Lara, every single time that we've come, there's always something new.
Yeah.
And it's not even, it's a mix of, there's always something new and something about to happen.
Really incredible.
I mean, I have no words, because it's like a fairy tale. But one of the things I think that I've noticed about you, you're always smiling, and it's really infectious. It's really just a really beautiful energy. And I also think that's something you really bring into your kitchen, and I know that it's also part of the team you're working with, because I know that that's really important to you. And I know it's important to Massimo as well.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that? Because
I think,
because we watched The Bear, we've seen, what is it, No Boundaries, we've seen the world, we get those glimpses into the world of elite level chefs, and the intensity and the drama.
Sure.
And I see you, and you have like this serene smile on your face.
Yeah. I mean, I've been doing this job for 20 years. This is what I chose to do when I was in my teens. It's the way that I want to live my life. I'm passionate about cooking. I'm extremely passionate about the well-being of my team and having a great dynamic and great energy. And there is not one single day that I want to work in a kitchen that has bad vibes. We're here all day. We give so much to everything that we do. Like, bring that good energy. And the fact that we can do what we love to do and do it in such a beautiful ambiance. Why do we need to suffer? Why do we have to be consumed by stress or by pressure when we have everything at our disposal right now to be creating good and healthy and happy work environments? I think that now that whole, tough guy, the aggressivity, the like what you said, what was a really popular kitchen culture back in the day, what we see a lot in like films and on TV. that's not a sustainable life, and after 2 decades doing this, I don't want to live. I've worked in kitchens like that before. It's devastating, it's exhausting. How do you have good, teamwork? It's all about the team getting together, and that's the way that you make these impossible projects happen, is by having a stronger, united team. And that's a team that gets along. It's a team that cares for each other. It's a team that actually enjoys building these big projects together. Not people that are doing it because they have their own egos in the way, their ambitions are there clouding this sense of now. And the now today is, I'm here and I'm with these people and I get to do what I actually genuinely love doing every day. And I've made this my career. And so why don't I do this happily? And I can guarantee to you that a happy chef's food tastes a heck of a lot better than an angry chef's food, And I think that the customers also perceive that, when they see the dining room is happy, the kitchen is smiling, people are there. It's not a front. We really are happy, We put a lot of effort into what we do. We work just as hard as all the other angry chefs. But I think, that for us, it just feels better. And the final product has that real positivity and that playfulness to it that we also feel in the kitchen every day. So for me, it's a blessing to be able to come into work and smile, every single day, and to feel like this authentic joy that I have with what I do and with the people that I do it with. So
one other thing, I thought it was, when you walk into Gatto Verde and you have the kitchen exposed.
Yeah.
It's almost like, I guess, if you walk into a soundstage of a movie and you're watching a scene, right?
Sure.
You get front row to see how your kitchen works, but not how it's like watching its family working together. And it was really nice last night because I took a quick glimpse and just it was great to see, because you're really giving us a happy kitchen makes great food and the guests know, and you've taken that one step forward to show everyone what it takes, and it was really lovely to see that. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. I think that at this point, the reality is, we've built Casa Maria Luigia as this place and as this home that is really exposing, first of all, Osteria Francescana, 30 years of, this incredible restaurant that has inspired so much food culture internationally. Now you can actually come and sleep and walk and live in this house that is full of the inspiration that really went into building Osteria Francescana. We do our iconic dishes, totally open kitchen, middle of the dining room. We started doing barbecues because after COVID, everything was closed. We wanted people to come out. We wanted people to be together. We wanted just to have that real great sense of openness and sharing again. And that's what was translated into Gatto Verde. So I think that here at Casa Maria Luigia, we've done everything since the very first day, very much with our hearts on our sleeves, very much as this open book. And that's something that we want to continue doing, because there is so many interesting aspects to, yes, like cooking, people can actually physically see what we're doing, how we're communicating, how we're plating, how we start, running a little bit faster every now and then, and whatnot. But they can also sit in the dining room and just see that kind of crazy and that wild that is what the kitchen still does come out in this very fluid, beautiful way, which is, ultimately the type of service that we believe in. And even though Gatto Verde is more of a casual approach to fine dining, it definitely, we're all raised in Osteria Francescana, so definitely has little...
See there, you see it.
Yes, those little fine dining, touches, those things that are just good service practices and good dining practices that, we can bring down into a more casual eating environment as well, without saying.
Tell me a little bit about Not Barbecue.
Not Barbecue.
So,
yes.
I was cracking up last night because I walked in and I was like, is that a pollock? And somebody heard me and goes, not pollock. And then I was like, oh, it's the Mark Bidlow. And then when I was just talking to Massimo, he was like, this was the inspiration.
Yes.
Part of the inspiration for this Not Barbecue idea.
Yeah. I think that, the art definitely inspired a lot of the I think, conceptually, I think we were having a lot of trouble kind of coining a term that would describe what we've been doing. What we've been doing and what we've been practicing over the last 3 years, so since 2020, which is, yes, barbecue. Yes, everything is being cooked in either on a grill, in a wood-burning oven, on a smoker. But it's not barbecue, because barbecue is a term that already kind of has its set of definitions. No, barbecue is something that kind of already exists. And what we're doing here is we want total freedom. We want this creative freedom to do whatever it is that we want to do. So we decided to give it a non-definition. you know, and just by not defining it again, you have that liberty, you know. This is kind of barbecue. We'll say the word barbecue so that we know, but it's not barbecue because it's not what you expect it to be. And I think that for us,
I did not expect that the cozza brutta. For sure.
Yeah, this is not a cozza. This is not a cozza. It's the entire Adriatic Sea, but everything is there except for the cozza, you know? And just being able to be really playful and experiment with fire and flames and ash in a way that typical barbecue doesn't do it. Taking what is typically barbecue gives you this idea of a more casual style service, and elevating it into, you know, the world of Gatto Verde, kind of creating this a little bit of, I would say, a surreal environment around barbecue food. Just like, you know, in Paris 1920s, the green cat was this very surreal figure, you know, just as it is now. We say, you know, what happens, anything can happen when the cat turns green. I don't know, we're playing with that, you know, because we want freedom. You know, we want freedom to be able to do whatever we want and not limit ourselves to whatever kind of, you know, style we give the restaurant. So we just say it's a green cat and anything can happen, and it's barbecue, but it's not barbecue, and, you know, just come and sit down and just see. I don't know, you know, why do we have to always just be there, you know, giving real definitions of things? Let's just be fluid, you know?
I said that every day.
Yeah.
Tell me about the menu. Will the menu be changing? Like,
yes. Yeah, definitely. Of course, I think that the menu is something that you know, is really great, and you know, I have a huge amount of respect for Massimo and Lara as well, who, after, you know, I've been working with them for 10 years, really understood that at this point in my career, you know, that it was really important for me to have a space that I could express, you know, that creative side, you know, after all these years of working with them and cooking Massimo's food as well. So for that, I'm just forever grateful and humbled by the fact that they're giving me this opportunity.
Is this a passing of the mantle?
This is, I think it's just as I said, you know, Massimo and Lara have always really nurtured the next generation of chefs. You know, they open doors for the next chefs. They don't close them, you know, and I think that this is them doing that for me, you know, with Gatto Verde. And I'm just so grateful to have met them along, you know, in my career, and to be at this point where they've given me the trust to be able to create the menus in this space. Menus where right now, of course, the opening menu is always the most difficult one to come up with, because you say we want it to be reminiscent of Toledozza, which were our barbecues. We want it to kind of bring us up into fine dining. We want it to kind of give people an idea of where we're going in the future, making this selection. But, you know, even just in the last 3 weeks, we cook so seasonally in Italy. And so I already know that in the next couple of weeks, 2 dishes are going to change. And because we have to...
Which ones?
I know.
I mean, don't tell me the cotechino. I'll die.
Well, cotechino is going to have to change a little bit soon.
Because of the plums?
Because of the plums. So they're probably going to become pomegranate.
Oh.
I know.
I mean, Darius and I already decided. We'll be back in May.
Yes.
So you talked about...
Yeah, the lamb, where there's going to be no peaches really soon. So those are going to have to change. The pasta arsa, so the burnt pasta, the apricots are done.
That was amazing, by the way.
Thank you, yeah.
I was Darius, I was like, I'm a really sweet tooth person.
Yeah.
And I was like, this was crazy because it really... For someone who really is a very sugary person, it was a great, like, it was like a hand holding to get to, like, from savory to sweet. It really helped me. No, it was delicious, but it was like, because normally I would have just like, I'd dive right into, you know, something really sugary, and it was unexpected, and it was unexpected that I felt like, wow, this is like, I feel like I'm being guided along by this dish into the next one and the final dessert, which, by the way, can you tell me what the final dessert was called? The last dish was called?
Cielo, terra, mare. So the sky, the earth, the sea.
Okay. That's one that he was, I think, our server was talking about pink moon.
Yes.
That was trippy.
So, yeah, trippy dish even for me as I was developing it, because, you know, and the reason why I love that dish is because I think it's just such in just even the fact that it's a gray on gray, I find that its monochromatic nature really hides a lot of the complexity that's behind that dish, not just from the flavor perspective, but also just from the creation of it. Because quite simply, the whole process started when I was listening to Pink Moon by Nick Drake, because it just passed through on my playlist. And I was like, very superficially, I was like, Pink Moon, like that could be super cute. Like I could make a dish and it could be, you know, when you look at it, it could be like a pink moon and I could make a tuile out of ash and raspberry and then it would be this like really cool moon. And that's where it started. And this is also, I think, really important to say. A lot of people think that dishes just pop out and then you make them and then they're great. And sometimes that's not true, you know? So I start making this tuile and it's trying to make it look like a pink moon. It looks like a pink moon, but it doesn't taste like much. So I add more ash. Then it starts tasting really mineral. It starts tasting like the sea. So I say, okay, interesting. Let's bring in some of the sea flavors. So start pulling in the nori, start pulling in the caviar.
The nori, that was mind blowing.
Yeah, start pulling the seawater, the syrup, the rose syrup at the end is made with seawater. So you get a lot of that like more like rich umami algae flavor that's coming from the syrup that gets poured into it at the end. And then after this whole, you know, disruptive, frustrating, creative process, it kind of just all pulled together in the end when I abandoned the idea of making this raspberry moon, and it basically just turned into, and it works a lot better in Italian, but La Luna Rosa became La Rosa Luna, no?
The pink moon becomes the moon pink, right? Is that
the moon pink or the rose as a moon?
Yes,
right?
The rose as a moon. Yeah.
Yes,
the rose
so
as a
instead
moon.
of the rose moon,
It becomes
the moon rose. No, moon rose. It becomes the rose moon. It works better in Italian.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that was.
You know, but just how everything can just get flipped up throughout that, and about as a chef being okay with that process, because it is unsettling. No, to have this great idea, you're so sure it's going to work, you're so sure it's going to be great, and sometimes when we do that first test and it doesn't come out as we imagined it, it can be disheartening. No, but then there's something about, and also I go through this process with my team as they have ideas and we're putting things together. It's don't stop after the first time you see that maybe it's not great. No? Keep going and push through kind of those insecurities or those moments where you say like, oh, I didn't get it. It didn't come out right. Abandon. Don't abandon. Do it again. Change something about it. Think about it and go through that frustrating process, because something will come out at the end. Genius chefs and genius dishes and, you know, Massimo Bottura and all of these other incredible chefs around the world, I can almost guarantee to you that most of their dishes did not come out as they imagined it. We always have the first idea. And then we have the final product. And there is such a journey that happens in between those 2 points. And I think that the greatest chefs are the ones that are comfortable with that journey. And they're comfortable with the failure and they're okay trying again. And I think that that's what this dish is about to me, you know? And why we called it that, I don't know why we called it that, to be honest, but it's stuck. And it's too late to change it now.
It's a great, it was, I think, is there caviar? Was there caviar?
Caviar.
I mean, that was like
Yeah.
a final dish, a dessert dish. Who even thought?
Yeah. It's a carbon semifreddo, so I'm using the ashes from the oven to make semifreddo. It's filled with a sour raspberry sauce.
Yeah, that was
Caviar. There is a kombu and nori cookie underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we finish the dish with a rose-flavored seawater syrup.
Yes. It was delicious, and it was. I mean, every single dish was. It was so wonderful. So they're all really personal, and it was so much fun.
Thank
it was
you.
a lot of fun. Now I have one more question to ask you, or not even a question to ask you. You mentioned that Massimo and Laura have always been really encouraging with new chefs or young chefs.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that you've been doing too. Because
Yes.
I do know a little bit. What is it? Hold on a second. I wrote it down.
Yeah, Roots.
With Roots.
Association
Yes.
for the Integration of Women.
Thank you. The
Yeah.
Association for Integration of Women and the restaurant Roots.
Yeah.
And can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's my nonprofit. I co-founded it with my best friend in 2020.
Is she your best friend from here, or is she
From here, yeah. We met while we were both working in Osteria Francescana. She was working with Food for Soul in the office. I was in the kitchen. We met. She's American. Her name is Caroline Caparossi. And so she's always been in the nonprofit sector her whole career. And we met in the restaurant many years ago. And in 2020, she met a Nigerian woman named Ella in the streets. And this is where the whole project kind of was inspired and was born. And Ella was this incredibly talented, incredibly well-spoken, educated woman who had arrived from Nigeria 3 years earlier and wanted to just be the first woman in her family to ever work, period. That was it. 3 years, still hadn't been able to do it, was faced with one challenge after another. And so Caroline, kind of feeling how unjust that whole situation was, helped Ella find a job, realized how difficult it was to navigate a lot of the training programs, a lot of the job placement programs that existed. And so, you know, one night over, we were having Aperol Spritzes, we start talking about Ella and about this thing. We decided we want to start making our own programs. We would teach women how to get into the restaurant world, how to cook. We had an entire market of, you know, a whole group of people within our own community that are the most disadvantaged groups of people in the entire European Union in terms of like social economic inclusion, everything. And then we have an entire sector, which is the restaurant world, that is short-staffed always, you know, always looking for skilled workers. So we said, okay, let's put this together. That's when we founded the Association for the Integration of Women. And then with the ultimate goal to open our own restaurant/training program, which we did finally in last year, so the spring of last year, and it's called Roots. And Roots is a training program, a restaurant that's also open 5 nights a week, but every 4 months we train different groups of women, mostly migrant women, mostly young, under the age of 40, who are interested in entering the world of cooking. And so we've developed an entire culinary training program that they follow throughout those 4 months. We have chef trainers that come in during the days, and then we run a regular service with them as the chefs in the kitchen at night to give them real life work experience. And then at the end of their program, we help them find jobs within the industry, and we follow them and we support them, you know. And the beautiful thing about Roots is, yes, it's a non-profit restaurant. Never hear of anybody opens a non-profit restaurant. Most restaurants just don't make profit anyways, you know, but luckily ours does, but that all gets reinvested directly into the program in and of itself. And the menu that we serve in Roots is what makes it really special, because it's a menu that will always reflect the origins of the women that are training in the kitchen. And so by doing this, what we can do is, yes, we're training a lot of, you know, migrant women to come in and kind of adapt and learn how to integrate into this Italian work life. But at the same time, we've created a space where Italians and Modenese people come and they discover this beauty of the diversity that exists in Modena. And so it's this beautiful two-way street, this place where it's just a melting pot of people and cultures and fun and live feminine energy, and it's beautiful. And after the first year and a half, we have right now 75% of our trainees are actually currently working in jobs in Modena, flourishing. We've seen lives change. It's just incredible to watch and follow, and really, really special, close to my heart. Yeah.
It sounds like an amazing project, and I did read an interview, I think, with one of the women who said something that it really, like, I got all teary. I'm getting a little teary when I think about it. And she said it not only was it the work experience and the learning, but it was also, you know, really built her a community that she didn't have.
Yeah.
And friends, but, like, you know, it's not easy to break into a new community that's not.
Yeah.
And when she said that, and I was just like, that just made me feel like that was it. Yeah. I got all teary, and it's a beautiful testament for you guys. You
know, it's beautiful. I mean, I'm you know, a migrant. You're a migrant also here in Italy. I think that, you know, to some degree, on a much lighter level, you know, because, you know, I've had the fortune in my life to not have to go through a lot of the traumas that some of these women have had to live through in terms of their voyages over and a series of other situations they've been through in their life. But that isolation that you feel when you leave your family behind and you start off in a new place and you wake up in the morning, you just say, where am I? Like, what? And you feel alone and you feel scared. Yeah. And I felt that, you know, to a certain degree when I got here in Modena. And then I found quite quickly Osteria Francescana and cooking and that team and that family, and they've been my support, and they showed me the country, they helped me do everything from the beginning, and that was the community that I got for myself when I got here. And so I know that that's a huge power of the team, and that's a huge power that cooking and kitchens have, also beyond the career, but also just about creating those friendships and those families for a lot of people. And I know that that's what Roots does for a lot of these trainees. You know, and that's why it makes it even more of a special project for me, because I can tell from the first day when they start the program to the very last day, they're just blossoming. You know, they just turn into a totally different people, and then they have friends and family, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see.
Well, that sounds. Congratulations. I'm so happy for you. That's such a great project. I'm really looking forward to the next time I come back.
She's there, like, she directs the project daily.
Yeah.
You know, she is there always. She is so, she's just an incredible, strong-willed woman, and I think that you would really enjoy chatting with her.
It's such a great, like, I think that's such a great story that I want to, however I can get it out there as its own story as well.
You know, we opened this restaurant and we said we want it to be a restaurant, but then it ended up becoming actually also a very beautiful restaurant. Like, and it's a very cool restaurant. You know, and you go in and you pay 38 euros per person, and
it's a fixed fee,
and you have all the antipasti come out in the middle of the table, and then you have, you know, you choose, I want the meat main or the fish main, and then it all comes out sharing style on the table, and you get all of these different dishes from all of these different places.
That's part of the nonprofit
around the world. The restaurant is the nonprofit. It's
so we
where,
should check that out next.
Yeah, the kitchen is where we're training these women to become chefs, and
Cool.
and it's been incredible. Started AIW, which is the nonprofit, in 2020 in the spring, and we opened the restaurant in March of last year.
Oh, okay.
Finally, so it's still a bit of a baby, but
how many does it seat?
March of 2022. Yeah, 40 guests.
Okay, so nice.
40 guests. Nice. Because, you know, we go through this period where, you know, we change the team every 4 months as we're going through the training program. So we can't have this big powerhouse restaurant, because we always go through a period of 1 or 2 months where we have a brand new team in the kitchen every single time. And these are people that have never cooked professionally before. So we have our restaurant chef. We have 2 of them. One is actually a graduate from our program. Her name is Fanta, and she's stuck on since the very beginning with me. And then we hired this new chef just recently. Her name is Nadia. She's a Ukrainian woman. She's been in Modena for a number of years now, and she's taken over also the daily management of the kitchen, the things that happen there. And so at this point, my involvement was I created the curriculum at the beginning, and I follow up with them, and then I create the menus and implement them with the kitchen team, and then they bring it forward, because of course I have a bit of a handful here at Casa Maria Luigia, but definitely spend as much time as I possibly can there.
Thank you, Jessica, and to Massimo Bottura, Lara Gilmore, and everyone in the Francescana family for making this episode happen. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Ciao Bella. The editor of Ciao Bella is Mastro. Production manager is Jenna Spray. If you're new to Ciao Bella, take a peek at ciaobella.co, our all-encompassing Italy-focused website, where you'll find insider insight on contemporary Italy, and sign up for our newsletter for new episodes and articles. Follow me on Instagram at Erica Firpo, and follow Ciao Bella on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you like to listen. Leave us a rating or comment. Ciao, ciao!